I can have a really profound impact through design. It's not just a 9 to 5. I can do some amazing things.
I'm Jimmy Bruce, president of Eastern Gateway Community College. We're proud to sponsor this thought-provoking interview series with community leaders who, through perseverance and determination, are being who they want to be and making a difference in the Mahoning Valley.
Let's talk a little bit about growing up in rural PA.
Yeah, I love telling this story because I grew up in a small town of like 800 to 1,000 people called Youngsville. Their tagline was, the biggest little city on the map.
Okay.
So yeah, Youngsville, Pennsylvania in Warren County. So, you know.
It's kind of fate-driven or something.
It is certainly fate-driven. It's serendipity, no doubt. Yeah, I grew up in rural Pennsylvania. So, bears in my backyard, deer every morning. And it was a really great experience for me growing up. It was very secure, but I had a lot of opportunity to explore, and I have woods behind my house, and I lived right near the elementary school, so it was a very safe neighborhood. But it was also good for me growing up as a person with cystic fibrosis. The isolation in some respects was good in that, I'm immunocompromised, so I can't even be in the same space with someone else with cystic fibrosis because we're inherently allergic to one another.
And what did it mean for you, I guess, as a child? A lot of trips to the hospital?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So fortunately, I'm a blessed man in that I've never been hospitalized for my illness. Most people with CF are. Cystic fibrosis is really a child-killing disease. And growing up, I was told I had a life expectancy, like if you're lucky to reach 40, that's good. So I grew up knowing that my life could potentially be shorter than everyone else's because of my disease. And while I was sick a lot as a child, as a teenager, fortunately never got to the point where I had to be hospitalized. But it also meant that I was going to Pittsburgh 4 times a year, taking exceptionally good care of myself, mostly due in part to my mother and father, who were very steadfast and disciplined with my medicine regimen and things like that. And because I was isolated, I discovered design when I was 11 years old. And I've been practicing design since that time.
When you got your first computer?
Yes, actually, yeah. So when I got my first computer, I had a toy. So I'm a huge Marvel Comics fan, and I had a Captain America toy. And you can't have a Captain America toy without a shield. So it was sacrilege for this company to sell a Captain America toy without a shield. So we got our first computer, and it came with a printer, and I learned how to use Microsoft Paint to create Captain America's shield. I printed it out, cut it out in cardboard, pasted it on, and then made a little attachment so the figure could hold it. And that's kind of what kicked it off. So I was 11 when that happened. Year after that, I was doing work in Photoshop, and after that I started web design and learning how to code, and after that it was 3D modeling, and after that it was animation, and then video. Up until high school graduation, I had been practicing design in one way or another.
Were your parents involved in that too, or it was just something you did on your own?
It's just something that I did on my own. My parents are creative in their own unique ways, but they are not artists. So I cultivated this hobby and this discipline on my own. So I often tell my students, I'm glad you're in school because you're getting a very clear, direct path from getting to A to Z. Mm-hmm. I had to go all the way around and backwards and forwards and back again to get to where I am. But I'm entirely self-taught.
Tell me about that journey, I guess, into academics and college.
Sure.
and how you ended up here.
So I never saw myself as a college professor. In fact, I had always seen myself as just, a steady designer employed by a design agency. That's what I had always wanted. And my path was really interesting in that I got a taste of the design agency life very early on in my career when I was still an undergraduate. And I discovered that there were some things that I liked about it and some things that I didn't. What I really liked about it was being able to connect with people on their projects and, go to their offices or on-site visits and do the research and learn about who they are to make their projects better.
And where was this?
This was at Demon and Company. It's an agency in downtown Pittsburgh.
Okay.
That's what I really liked about it. I did not like sitting behind a computer all day, which is ironic because shortly after graduation, I got a job designing a magazine. And I was doing that for 5 months, and then I got laid off. And then I got a job as a designer for H.J. Heinz Company,
wow.
Heinz North America, and I was there for 2 years. And at Heinz North America, I discovered that Fortune 500 corporate life was also not for me. So I liken my experience in practice to discovering what I don't like instead of what I do.
And some might have thought that was the pinnacle of their career, getting to work at Heinz North
Absolutely.
America. Yeah.
And so I decided to apply to grad school. I applied to Savannah College of Art and Design. And at the time, I was involved in the American Institute for Graphic Artists, the AIGA chapter in Pittsburgh. And I went out to Robert Morris University for a lecture that they were doing. And I got a portfolio review, and 3 different professors said, "You have got to apply to school here. You have to do it. In fact, give us your contact information, because if we don't see your application in the next 2 weeks, we're going to call you."
Come and get you, yeah.
So I applied, and I actually got a $20,000 scholarship to go to SCAD for the Master of Fine Arts and Graphic Design program. And for the first year at Heinz, I was a grad student also. Eventually, there was an AIGA event. It was, at the time, it was called Context, and it was the best of Pittsburgh design in the year 2009. And I had submitted a graduate school piece, and I was awarded like a Best of Design award. And it was then that a professor at LaRoche College, he pulled me aside. He's like, "Hey, you ever think about teaching? I saw that piece and I thought it was amazing. Why don't you come in and let's talk?" So what's funny about that is his name was Rich Helfrich, and Rich Helfrich is now faculty at YSU. I teach alongside him. So I taught with him at LaRoche, and now I'm teaching with him at YSU.
What do you like about YSU?
I love the students. First and foremost, absolute best thing about this university are the students. That will always be my response. The students are amazing. I love my students. They're exceptional people. They work extremely hard. In fact, I've taught at a few different universities, and I can say without a doubt they're the hardest working students I've ever encountered. They're very passionate and determined about accomplishing their career goals, but also in discovering who they are and how those two things can, through their work, get into alignment.
Why do you think that is?
I think they're a product of the culture and the best parts of the culture of the Mahoning Valley. All of my students really have a very specific goal in mind for themselves. They want to do great things. And through the work that I've been doing in the City of U, I've been able to bring my students along for that ride. And they see like, wow, RJ's getting a lot of recognition, but it's also helping Youngstown. I can have a really profound impact through design. It's not just a 9 to 5. I can do some amazing things. And to be that kind of mentor for my students and to even have those opportunities is something that I'm deeply grateful for. They get a true sense of their capabilities and where they can go.
I'm Jimmy Bruce, president of Eastern Gateway Community College. We're proud to sponsor this thought-provoking interview series with community leaders who, through perseverance and determination, are being who they want to be and making a difference in the Mahoning Valley.